Alright, it's been a fairly busy week and I have a lot to talk about, but it's also fairly late, so we're gonna go through this real quick. Which means, for one, there's gonna be no filler talking about what happened that wasn't interesting. We're just gonna be flying real quick through the things that were interesting. So, starting off, to begin this previous week that I've just gone through, I decided that I was gonna randomly have a resolution. You see, whenever a new year starts, I always am like, oh, I should probably have a resolution. Write like 20 of them down, and then I'll start the new year and then be 3 days in and I'll mess up on the resolutions. I'll then take this as a sign that I never was supposed to do those resolutions anyway, give up completely on them, and move on with my life. But this time I decided I'm not gonna wait an entire year or month or few days to start a new resolution. And so on Monday, even though it wasn't the first day of February or anything special like that, I just decided that I was gonna have a resolution. And my resolution was to do something new every single week, as much as I can. Because the thing about me and college is I just like to play it safe. I like to do things that are just nice and comfortable, like being in my room or going to the same places with the same people. It just makes better sense than to go out and constantly try to do different things. Also, when it comes to things like study groups or physical therapy and stuff that I honestly should be going to, I'm super shy when it comes to all of that. And so I decided that I was gonna start out by going to physical therapy because my teachers, well, not teachers, my coaches told us that we should probably go and start seeing them, and I was like, alright, I'll do that. So Monday I go into the physical therapist and they go ahead, check me out, and they're like, yeah, you've got so much stress in your shoulders that you are literally using them for everything, and if you keep doing that, then you're going to severely hurt yourself by age 25. And I'm just sitting here like, wow, I really have been carrying this world on my shoulders, haven't I? What a great person I am. But a lot of physical therapy later, and she tells me to take the day off from practice. And I'm like, I don't want to take a day off from practice, but part of me knows that I should, and so I don't end up going to practice that day, and instead the next day go back to physical therapy. But the problem was that my Tuesday schedule is so busy. There is literally only a 50-minute window where I don't have any classes from 9:30 to 5 o'clock at night. And so, since those are essentially the operating hours of this place, I had to find some other way. And so I ended up skipping my Latin class, which, I have 4 times a week every week, to go into the physical therapist and get myself checked out again. But going back, I got a different physical therapist, and when I asked them if I should come back the next day, they said something along the lines of, yeah, you can if you want. And to which I was like, alright, I guess I'm in the clear, I'm good. And I ended up going to practice that very next day and telling myself at the beginning, oh, I'll just go in, do a little bit of the set, it'll be fine, I'll take it easy. And then completed the entire set except for maybe like a 50 where I was like, yeah, my shoulders are kind of hurting on this one, I'll skip it. So I'm probably screwed up now because I kind of ignored everything they said. And now we'll probably have to go back, but at least I went, right? Right, guys? Oh well, it's my life, and we will get back onto it this week. That's one of the things that I have on the agenda. Anyways, not only did I have that semi-stressful experience, but on Wednesday, I nearly had a panic attack because I had 2 assignments, not 1, but 2 assignments, which I thought I had failed. This essentially was a result of being in some classes that are, one that's an online class, and the other that's just a high-level class. And because of this being a high-level class, I thought it was possible that they just wouldn't give you notifications for assignments. So when I looked at the syllabus and I saw that one of the assignments had come, like due date had come and gone, and how much percent of the grade it was worth, I was devastated. I was like, how could I have missed this? My professor probably thinks I'm a failure, because this is the class that, of course, I have with him and 3 other students, and he knows me. And I was just completely devastated. And then there was the one for my other class, which I had known was coming up, and I had kind of worked on, but by the time I got to it that night, I had about an hour to do 5 hours worth of work, and I knew it wasn't going to happen. And so that night, I sat at my desk and realized that I had failed 2 things. And coming to that realization was just devastating. It was really, really difficult for me. I was having a very bad night. But then one of my friends calls, and they essentially text me right as I'm getting ready to curl up in bed for the night, like, hey, can I talk to you, in a way that they hadn't done before. And so I went ahead and had a conversation with them, and that helped a lot because hearing someone else's problems and talking them through it just helped me to put my own problems in perspective. And it ended up that the problems were fixable. I really lucked out because one was, they ended up moving the due date because they hadn't planned on it really being due the day that it said on the syllabus. And then for the other class, it was due that night, but the teacher has this mercy clause that they were able to give me where you get 3 more days, essentially just if you ask for it, but you only get that once a semester. So I managed to get out of that without any casualties to my grades or ego, even though I thought I was going to have a million of them. Thursday was all about just getting my life together, going to classes, getting homework done. Friday was getting the 2 big assignments, those ones that I had gotten the extra days for, done. And it was also about trying out a Chem study session for the first time. So I went ahead and I went to an Chem study session, and when I walk in the room 5 minutes before the review, there's probably 8 people in this giant room. And I'm like, oh, okay, this will be a kind of personal thing. So I go ahead, go up to one of the people and ask if I can sit next to them. They say yes, and I get ready to get all my stuff out and get ready. Within about 10 minutes, the room fills up to about 40 people. People are cramming in and at the tables where there's only meant to be 2 seats. There's now 3 or 4. Someone comes between me and the person I had talked to, which was fine. They were friends or whatever, and I just kind of ended up playing the role at my table as the one that kind of knew things. I knew a lot of the rules that we were supposed to be talking about pretty well, and so I was pretty able to address the issues as they came up. And that was a really satisfying feeling. It was also really nice to have people saying stuff like, wow, you really know this, or man, I wish I was as good at OChem as you are. And it really boosted my ego, made me feel really good. Going into Saturday, which was my roommate's birthday, I was feeling great, and I actually felt able to go to the party, which I did, and I had an amazing time. We started out just playing some video games, as I'm very comfortable with, and then we moved to a kind of dinner sort of segment, which then ended up at a kind of macaroon store, and then we went over to the CVS, and it was just a lot of fun. It went on a lot longer than I expected, but that's good because everyone was having a good time and enjoying company. And then even when we got back to the dorm, we all stuck around and like watched anime and shows and stuff. It was a really cool night, which is why there was no video yesterday and why I'm making 2 videos tonight, because that happened and I had literally no time to make a video. I thought I'd be home at like 8. I was home at like 1. So, and by home, I mean I was across from my dorm room. It's not like I walked very far. but it was a really good time. And then came today. Now, Sundays I have 3 quizzes that are pretty much always due. One for public policy and administration, one for memes, one for OChem, without fail. I know this. And I decided to start with OChem because I was feeling all high and mighty after helping all the people at the review session, and I thought I knew all this material really well. So I go ahead, go through the quiz, fly through it, feel really, really confident, submit it, and get a 50%. And I look at this, and I just don't understand why. Because I'm looking at the questions and it's like, I understand my reasoning, I could write it out, I know it. Like, why am I messing up so badly? And I get so flustered that I take it again and I get a worse score because you get 2 attempts and they average them. And I just felt horrible, like I didn't know anything, like I was stupid. And I looked at the quizzes later on, like a couple hours after the fact, and I realized that what was happening is they kept switching the wording from rank these from most to least to rank these from least to most, using the exact same numbers and system and everything, and changing the words, like reactivity, stability. So I knew how to answer the questions, but I had just been going so fast that I just screwed everything up. With the exception of one question, which I ended up emailing my professor about because even when I took my time on it, I still didn't understand why the heck the answer was what it was. So, OChem is fun right now. I then went ahead, did my meme quiz and my public policy quiz and got good grades on those, which helped my ego a lot. This all going to prove that my ego is all too dependent on what I score on tests and quizzes. And then I was preparing to go to D&D without having the videos done because I had been busy, when the DM goes ahead and messages us and says, hey, sorry, have to cancel. And that was one of the most mixed things that I've had happen to me in a while because part of me really wanted to go to the D&D group. I really enjoy the D&D group. They're awesome people, and the dynamics are really good right now, and it's just a lot of fun. But the other part of me knew that it would be better if I stayed home, got these videos done, worked on some other stuff that I needed to do, did my laundry, all of these millions of things that I needed to do. And so it was like, ah, man, I'm so bummed that there's no D&D, but also thank you that there's no D&D because this means that my life can go on and I'm not going to be struggling on Monday to try and make up for what I've been missing. So overall, I'd say this week has been hectic and bittersweet. A lot of redemption, a lot of, building myself up, a lot of encouragement, but at the same time, just a lot of disappointment, a lot of bleakness, a lot of, just overall negative feelings about myself and my abilities. So it's been a heck of a week, I will say that. And hopefully this next week is better. And maybe I'll not be such a coward that if the trainer says, hey, maybe you shouldn't come in again or anything like that, then I'll still be like, oh yeah, I still think I need to come in. Anyways, that's it for me. I hope you all have had an amazing week and have an amazing week. And most of all, I hope that you all soar high and enjoy your ride of life. Bye!